Meeting of the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Workgroup August 20th, 2020, 2 p.m. Summary minutes of the board meeting. Workgroup members present via video conference: Alex Gallegos, Felicia Ortiz, Tamara Hudson, Wayne Workman. Department staff present: Joan Ebert, Superintendent of Public Instruction; Dr. Jonathan Moore, Deputy Superintendent of Student Achievement; Felicia Gonzalez, Deputy Superintendent of Educator Effectiveness and Family Engagement; Terry Henry, Public Information Officer; Christy McGill, Director of the Office for a Safe and Respectful Learning Environment; Amber Reed, Education Programs Professional; Guns Kaplan, Education Programs Professional; Marie Dufresne, Education Programs Professional. Legal staff present via video conference: David Gardner, Deputy Attorney General. Presenters in attendance: Gerald Robinson, Clark County School District; Stephanie Keating, Clark County School District. Audience in attendance via live stream meeting location. Due to the circumstances created by the COVID-19 pandemic, the State Board of Education met via video conference. In accordance with Governor Sisolak's State of Emergency Directive 006, Section 1, no physical location was designated for this meeting. The meeting was live streamed on the Nevada Department of Education's NDE website. 1. Call to order. Roll call. Pledge of Allegiance. Meeting called to order at 2 p.m. by Chair Tamara Hudson. Quorum was established. Chair Hudson led the Pledge of Allegiance. 2. Public comment. Number 1. Sylvia Lazos, Nevada Immigrant Coalition, submitted public comment regarding the digital divide. A complete copy of the statement is available in Appendix A. 3. Approval of the August 20th, 2020 Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Workgroup minutes. Member Felicia Ortiz moved to approve the minutes of the August 20th, 2020 Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Workgroup. Member Wayne Workman seconded. Motion passed. 4. Chair's report. Chair Hudson noted that during the first meeting of the workgroup, the digital divide was identified as one of the greatest barriers to equity for all students this school year. With the majority of students attending school in virtual and hybrid models, ensuring that students and educators have access to devices and connectivity is critical. The Nevada Department of Education, NDE, and the Governor's Office of Science, Innovation and Technology, OSIT, have been working with districts and charter schools to identify their needs and track students participating in distance learning. As of this meeting, 10 districts are green, meaning that all students participating in distance learning have a device and internet access. Those districts are Carson City, Churchill, Esmeralda, Eureka, Humboldt, Lincoln, Nye, Pershing, Story, and White Pine. Of those, 5 are currently providing in-person instruction to all students. Chair Hudson thanked the Governor's COVID-19 task force, which provided enormous support on this issue. Their partnership with businesses and nonprofit organizations have made the Connecting Kids Envy effort possible. Families are encouraged to reach out to the Family Support Center at 888-616-2476 if they need help with a device or internet connectivity, which offers bilingual operators and is staffed 6:008.m.2, 7:00p.m. Mondays through Saturdays. Responding to Member Ortiz, Superintendent Joan Ebert reported that while some families have contacted the Family Support Center and been connected to internet services and devices, knock-on-door outreach has also begun to confirm roll call and establish needs, to provide additional support in operating the devices received, or to deliver devices. The 18,064 T-Mobile hotspots have been dispersed to school districts. However, some students have received hotspots where T-Mobile did not have strong coverage, and the hotspot has needed to be swapped with another. Superintendent Ebert also emphasized the importance of providing options for students to earn their diploma in the event they are prioritizing working to support their families financially during the pandemic. If districts are unable to locate students after 10 school days, they are unenrolled. However, an increased effort is being made to locate students before disenrollment. Even upon disenrollment, In the event a student has moved, schools are working to confirm the students have found placement in a school in Nevada or elsewhere. Member Ortiz asked if there was a protocol to inquire with Health and Human Services for student addresses. Member Workman noted that in Lyon County, the district has community partnerships with the Health District and County Health and Human Services in that regard. 5. Superintendents Report. Superintendent Ebert provided an update regarding NDE's equity team, comprised of NDE staff and including Member Ortiz. NDE held its first department-wide training with the National Equity Project to build its capacity to lead with equity. NDE staff will participate in a two-part series with the National Equity Project to learn about race, identity, and equity, reflecting on the current story of race and equity at NDE, recognizing the role of systemic inequity, racism, and oppression in limiting students' experiences, safety, opportunity, and belonging, and developing a shared vision of equity for education in the state. Each of the 2 3-hour learning sessions are being offered twice to NDE staff. Regarding the request by members of the work group for the demographics of NDE employees, Superintendent Ebert reported that NDE has worked with agency human resources regarding the staff demographic information. As the appointing authority, there is some information that the state may have too. Access to internally, but may not share publicly. NDE has developed an optional demographic survey which will first be administered to staff within NDE before being shared with various boards and commissions, so that NDE may be transparent in who is leading and participating in our work. NDE hopes to have the demographic survey of staff complete by the October meeting of the work group. Superintendent Ebert reported that NDE has formed a committee to draft a style guide which will emphasize clear, consistent, and concise communication, outline the department's voice, tone, and values, and include sections on equity and inclusive language. The style guide will also include a glossary and list of frequently used acronyms. Finally, Superintendent Ebert applauded Chair Hudson. The superintendent attended an event with the National Board of Certified Teachers, during which Chair Hudson was recognized. Member Ortiz seconded her congratulations. Member Ortiz reflected that she participated in the National Equity Project training, and it was a wonderful opportunity to meet staff. Overall, she noted that participants were happy to participate and engage in team building. 6. Agenda planning. Chair Hudson moved to discussion regarding agenda planning and the role of the work group. Chair Hudson will continue to reach out to work group members for suggestions for agenda items that may arise in addition to those discussed during meetings. When agenda items are submitted, they are reviewed with Superintendent Ebert and her leadership team to determine how best to address each topic and ensure that NDE has sufficient time to prepare quality presentations. Responding to Member Ortiz, Chair Hudson recommended requesting agenda items at least 1 month in advance. Member Ortiz asked that the department publish their rolling list of requested agenda items and their tentative schedules. Chair Hudson and Member Ortiz also discussed the value of longer-term planning of agenda items. Chair Hudson then discussed the leadership of the members of the board and the integration of diversity, equity, and inclusion work, as well as the values of the statewide plan for the improvement of pupils into their actions. One way of doing this is by advancing the items brought to the work group through commitments of action and concrete next steps to be undertaken by board members. 7. Information and discussion regarding restorative justice. Christy McGill, Director of the Office for a Safe and Respectful Learning Environment, OSRLE, Amber Reed, Education Programs Professional, OSRLE, Marie Dufresne, Education Programs Professional, OSRLE, Dr. Guns Kaplan, Education Programs Professional, Office of Assessment, Data and Accountability Management, Gerald Robinson, Clark County School District, and Stephanie Keating, Washoe County School District, conducted a PowerPoint presentation regarding restorative justice. Member Workman asked if there was a set definition for suspension and expulsion in the presented data set, as suspension and expulsion had differing definitions within districts. Ms. Reed responded that expulsion meant that students were removed from enrollment, while suspension meant limited from interaction from school and/or activities in some form. The data presented as baseline and collected prior to defined definitions for these items as required in statute. 2020-21 data will be more nuanced as it will have been collected with set definitions in place. Chair Hudson asked if the 2019-20 data could be reanalyzed, as 2020-21 numbers may be skewed due to distance learning. Ms. Reed noted that the 2019-20 data was collected differently, but the process of norming was underway. Member Ortiz asked if gender information would be included in future data. Ms. Reed was unsure, as elements of the survey were still being determined to ensure the survey was not unduly burdensome amidst COVID-19. 3. Member Ortiz asked about some of the difficulties she had heard with implementation of restorative justice and scaling restorative justice practices out. Mr. Robinson noted that there are a multitude of issues to overcome in scaling out restorative justice, including overcoming implicit biases and feelings that it may not be a valid solution and only adds to workload. Further, in Clark County, Mr. Robinson is one of only 3 project coordinators responsible for training the district beginning in September of 2019. Mr. Robinson emphasized the importance of administrator support and buy-in. Reporting information received from constituents, Member Ortiz recommended short videos on restorative justice which could easily be shared on social media to spread information and increase buy-in from administrators and the public. Mr. Robinson agreed and noted that they have begun the process already. Member Ortiz further supported student engagement. 8. Action items for workgroup members. Member Ortiz moved that the workgroup receive an annual report on restorative justice efforts and student discipline data. Member Alex Gallegos seconded. Motion passed. 9. Future agenda items. Member Ortiz asked for the demographic information of administrators and support staff in schools across Nevada. 10. Public comment. Number 2. No public comment. 11. Adjournment. Meeting adjourned at 3:47 p.m. for comment regarding the digital divide. 5. Item A1, Sylvia Lazo's The Nevada Immigrant Coalition, Mi Familia Vota, Nevada Hispanic Legislative Caucus Ed Committee, want to express gratitude to State Board of Education Diversity Task Force and Connecting Kids NV, which continues to make great strides in addressing connectivity issues in our working communities. We want to bring to your attention the 10,000 children who have not been registered at CCSD, as reported by the Review Journal on September 15, 2020. 1. We have spoken to many CCSD principals who believe that the count day was last Thursday and are no longer working on outreach to families. The final day for enrollment that would count towards DSA distributions. It's October 1st. Please correct this misinformation. 2. Dropping enrollment in CCSD means children are out of contact with school and structured environments. Children left unsupervised are vulnerable to bad trouble. We have not seen an analysis from CCSD as to possible reasons for 10K drop in student enrollment. Please keep in mind that CCSD enrollments have actually increased by 2% each of the last 5 years. Here is our analysis. Charter school enrollment is up 3,000 statewide, or about 2,250 for CCSD. We are getting FOIA numbers from NDE. Homeschool applications at CCSD, which means families leaving the district, were reported at 3,100 by NVND in last Sunday's reporting. We believe that there won't be any impact from private schools, although we don't have the numbers. At least 5 private schools have closed, and some of those children should be back in public schools, so we still have about 5K kids who are missing in CCSD, San City. We do know that many high school children are working full-time to keep the family afloat. These children are either not enrolled or will soon be chronically absent. In addition, we are hearing from families, Maybe I will keep my child home this year. WashU reports that as many as 50% of kindergartners are not registered. We have made public records requests from CCSD to ascertain what is going on with this population of missing children of 5K. Because time is of the essence, we ask you to please consider announcing to CCSD principals that they still have the chance to reach their enrollment numbers. Principals know areas in their own neighborhoods where these families who are suffering economic deprivation may reside, e.g. budget suites. Principals who have made their enrollment numbers worked to reach those areas. We need to focus on homeless families and homeless youth. City of Las Vegas is conducting outreach efforts. This should be backed up by CCSD. Children who are working need to know that they can stay in school, and that school district will accommodate them. CCSD or NDE should be telling these families that there will be summer school opportunities so that these working children can graduate. We need to show these families that there is a way. Kindergartners need to be enrolled and engaged, even if it's 1 or 2 hours on a remote learning screen. Communication with working class communities is very much needed. You just can't keep a young child at home. Connecting Kids NVK has done an excellent job reconnectivity. We ask as a community that Connecting Kids NV also address the unregistered population, who is at very high risk if not in a structured environment. Our community will continue to canvass every weekend, because every child matters. Mi Familia Vota and NHLC have anchored weekend efforts. We need CCSD to be supportive, and within the FRPA 6 context be more liberal in interpretation so our community of caring adults can be efficient in our outreach efforts. We ask that NDE review CCSD FRPA interpretations that are overly restrictive and hamper community efforts. For example, we can canvass areas known to CCSD, such as an apartment building, budget suites, highly impoverished city blocks, where these missing children may reside, and this help from CCSD should not violate FRPA. With respect, Sylvia Lazo's Nevada Immigrant Coalition Nevada Hispanic Legislative Caucus COVID-19 19 Education Chair 7. Presentation to the State Board of Education Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Workgroup October 15, 2020 Felicia Gonzalez Deputy Superintendent for Educator Effectiveness and Family Engagement. We can't innovate, improve, or redesign our education system without cracking the code on recruiting and retaining great educators. 2. Alignment to State Plan for the Improvement of Pupils, STIP, 3 top-lighted rightwards arrowhead, Goal 2. All students have access to effective educators. 3 top-lighted rightwards arrowhead, Equity Strategy. Ensure effective educators in low-performing schools. 3 top-lighted rightwards arrowhead, Success Strategy. Decrease licensed educational personnel vacancies. 3 top-lighted rightwards arrowhead, Community Strategy. Increase candidates and educator pipeline. 3 top-lighted rightwards arrowhead, Goal 6 Success Strategy. Improve school climate. 3. The importance of educator diversity. The Demographic Imperative, McDonald, 2007. The increasing diversity of P-12 students. The gap between students and teachers in terms of their lived experiences, and the persistent disparities in educational outcomes between socially defined groups, including students of color, low-income students, and their white middle-class peers. The racial and cultural identity of the teacher can make a difference, particularly for students from underrepresented groups. D. 2004, 2005, Eagle-eyed, Keyzida, and Winters, 2015. Teachers of color are more likely than their white peers to remain in the very schools that need them most. The urban schools with high proportions of students of color and from families experiencing poverty, A. Kinstein, Ogawa, Saxton, and Freitas, 2010, Villegas and Irvine, 2010, 4. The national landscape. This chart shows the proportion of teachers and students of color for U.S. school districts. Circles are sized to the number of all students. The teacher of color gap is the percentage of students of color less the percentage of teachers of color. The larger the gap, the less diverse the teacher population is compared with the student population. Source: America's schools are more diverse than ever, but the teachers are still mostly white. The Washington Post, 2019, 5. The national landscape continued. The database is searchable by school districts and displays data as in the below example of Clark County School District, 6. Student and teacher demographics in the Mountain West. Source: Brookings Institution calculations based on the Schools and Staffing Survey, 1993, 4, 1999, 0, 2007, 98, 2011, 12, the Common Core of Data, 2015, and the American Community Survey, 2016. 7. Nevada Student Diversity 2010, 20, 2019, 2020, 2018, 2019, 2017, 2018, 2016, 2017, 2015, 2016, 2014, 2015, 2013, 2014, 2012, 2013, 2011, 2012, 2010, 2011, 0, 2040, 60, 80, 100. American Indian, Alaska Native, Asian, Hispanic, Latino, Black, African American, White, Pacific Islander, 2 or more races. 8. Student and educator diversity 2019, 2020, 2 or more races: Native Hawaiian, Pacific Islander, White, Black, African American, Hispanic, Latino, Asian American, American Indian, Alaska Native. 0, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. Educators. Students. Note: the race ethnicity of 0.4% of educators is unknown. 9. Questions. Felicia Gonzalez, Deputy Superintendent Educator Effectiveness and Family Engagement, F. Gonzalez, at do.nv.gov. Jason Dietrich, Director Office of Educator Development, Licensure and Family Engagement, J. Dietrich, at do.nv.gov. 10. Bibliography. A. Kinstein, B. Ogawa, R. T. Saxton, D. and Freitas, C. 2010. Retaining Teachers of Color, a Pressing Problem and a Potential Strategy for Hard-to-Staff Schools. Review of Educational Research, 81, 71, 107. doi:1.0.3102/0034654309355994. McDonald, M. A. 2007. The Joint Enterprise of Social Justice Teacher Education. Teachers College Record, 109, 2047-2081. D. T. S. 2004. Teachers, Race and Student Achievement in a Randomized Experiment. Review of Economics and Statistics, 86, 195-210. doi:1.0.162/003465304323023750. D. T. S. 2005. A Teacher Like Me. Does Race, Ethnicity, or Gender Matter? American Economic Review, 95-2, 158-165. Ecolate, A. J. Keyzida, B. and Winters, M. A. 2015. Representation in the Classroom. The Effect of Own-Race Teachers on Student Achievement. Economics of Education Review, 45, 4452. doi:1.0.1016/j.econedurev.2015.001.007. Hansen, M. Quintero, D. 2018. The Growing Need for Diverse Teachers in the Mountain West. 118. Meckler, L. and Rabinowitz, K. 2019, December 27th. America's schools are more diverse than ever, but the teachers are still mostly white. The Washington Post. Retrieved from https://www.washingtonpost.com/graphics/2019/local/education/teacher-diversity/Viegas A. M. and Irvine J. 2010. Diversifying the Teaching Force. An examination of major arguments. The Urban Review, 42, 175-192. doi:10.1007/S11256/010-0150-111.
So I've got to just intercede here and talk about what the state law says. The state law is saying Assembly Bill 234 that was entered into law in 2015 established a K-12 content standard for the state, which required successful completion of multicultural educational course for the license, teachers for the license. And the standard for social studies must include multicultural, including with the limitations of relating to contributions made by men, women, and various racial backgrounds. But then it goes into the history of Nevada's state standards. And then it goes into, at the end of June 2020, the Department of Education, Nevada Department of Education organized a multi-educational state advisory task force to engage individuals in meeting the needs of diverse students for culturally responsive curricula. And here's the state's mission. But see, the problem here is the reality that African American children are not making meaningful progress at age appropriate levels. And you would think that they would have the data to demonstrate that they were doing the work, but oh no, they don't have the data. And since Clark County is the largest Clark in and it says there's 5 African Americans on this task force, and I don't know who they are, but I don't even know what they've talked about because truly there's been no way to participate in this process. So here we go. They had a meeting in October. They reviewed the goals and expectations, and they're going to meet every 6 weeks or so. And the next meeting is on November the 12th. So I will say, please key in to the Nevada Department of Education and understand how they're talking about equity and access for your child, especially if a majority of African American students are below basic. I just need to know where they are scoring so that I can have an intelligent conversation. But because CCSD refuses to provide public information to the public, it is definitely questionable. I'm going to stop the share and upload this video. Please tune in.